Here are some key learning points to keep in mind in managing reform. Recognise and accept that reform is a fact of life for tax administrations, given that they operate in a dynamic environment of ever-changing needs and expectations of government, business and citizens. Drive reform from the top. Remember, it is the role of the tax administration head and executive leadership team, ELT, to provide the impetus for reform and create an environment to make it happen. Crucially, the ELT must gain support for reform from the government and communicate and consult with staff and external stakeholders and get them ready for the changes ahead. Recognise that reform is complex, risky, difficult to manage and requires special approaches. Reform is much harder to manage than a tax administration's normal day-to-day operations. Follow a structured, step-by-step approach to successfully develop a 3 to 5 year reform program. The first steps are the establishment of the reform goals and objectives, setting the overall reform timeline, and identification of the projects needed and the required funding. The last steps include the approval of the reform program and its communication to staff and other external stakeholders. Adopt a sound program management framework to control and coordinate the work of multiple related reform projects in a holistic way. The framework should cover the key players and activities. A reform program steering committee should oversee the reform program, guide its direction, monitor progress, and deal with issues that cross organizational boundaries. A reform program head should be appointed to take overall responsibility for coordinating the entire reform program to deliver expected outcomes and benefits. A reform program management unit should be set up to support the reform program head and steering committee. Finally, project managers should be engaged to manage reform projects on a day-to-day basis.